All right, so in a previous video, I showed you all how I leverage Cursor to run my agency website. And one thing that I wanted to clarify and give some Q&A over is that, look, the website is not really the product that's being showcased. That's not the point. The point of this is really a demo environment for how we're thinking about AI and using AI tools. The website itself is just an easy way to get something spun up, see it quickly, see it live, and see how good the agents and the tools that we're building are at building something. So look, every decision that we made in this situation is specific for my business, but there's also technology integrated here that we're deploying across lots of different use cases that's not just website driven. So Prometheus, as an AI first agency, we run on AI ourselves. And one of the things that I wanted to do was clarify that, but then show you some more powerful examples of how, again, we're leveraging AI in our business, and we'll demo that through a website, because that will hopefully start to give you examples of things that you can be doing for yourself in your own business. So one of the principles that we run on here at Prometheus is that we don't sell what we haven't already built for ourselves, or some sort of example like that. And so every system that we implement, we've already run it internally, and usually we're trying to be around 6 to 9 months ahead of the types of conversations when we're helping clients figure out what they need to be doing with AI. The problem with this principle is that it's easy to say and sort of hard to demonstrate. So that's the benefit of being a private agency, is that we can just run stuff on ourselves, lots of pilots really quickly. And so today I'm going to show you a case study of another example. Again, you know the core structure and principles of my website. It's built headless from a CMS perspective. It's deployed through Netlify and the database structures on Supabase. And there's AI embedded in lots of layers of the website. The code is hosted on GitHub from a repository perspective, but I use Cursor as an IDE to help me implement and make changes relatively quickly. And again, some of this is about actually just having a good website for my business, but a lot of it is about, again, what type of AI muscle do we have embedded in this ecosystem, and how can I do things really quickly that then can be deployed into other use cases for our clients. So the place where you want all of this, again, to be most visible for your business is it's the easiest for me to show you really quickly, which is my website. So don't get held up on the website, think about the AI, because that's what's the most important. But again, everything is manageable, it's changeable, and there's a feedback loop, which we'll talk about in future videos. So let me show you what I mean by all this. But first, really quickly, I just want you to know that I run Prometheus Agency. I'm the founder of our AI first agency here, and we help middle market companies, manufacturers, professional services, home services, logistics, distribution companies implement AI in ways that leverage their tech investments, but transform their organization. So we come alongside these team members. We help them with the right priorities to implement AI in their business. We then link arms with them, and we're their outsourced team. We help them build AI in the organization. We help train the teams so that hopefully all of the organization are power users, and maybe we work ourselves out of a job. So if you want to talk about that for your business specifically, there's a link in my bio. I would love a chance to meet you and talk with you about how we could help you with AI in your business. So here's the gap that I'm seeing in almost every business that's trying to figure out AI. They're treating it sort of, again, like an add-on. They just get a tool, they integrate it into a workflow, and they're just kind of looking at something vague. But the reason that it stalls is because they're thinking about just one feature instead of an entire system. That's why a website is a great example. It's a whole ecosystem. You've got content, you've got PR, you've got your team members, you've got maybe tools and playbooks and technical muscle. You need to win in SEO, you need to win in GEO. It's a platform. Maybe it even is your revenue engine for how you want to book systems and have people pay for products. When you think about AI in that system, you're not just adding one little thing to it, but you're thinking about the overall architecture and how we continually add muscle into it. So this video, again, it's not a tutorial, but to demonstrate the power of AI in a real, tangible way right here and right now, because this is an operational layer of our business, and I want you to see it using our own website as an example. Before I do that, this is how we think about AI at Prometheus. It's really 3 layers, and I'd love to walk you through them. Layer 1 is the agent infrastructure. This is the foundation. It's where the agents live. It's the data layer. It's the sources. It's how they communicate to one another, and it's how humans like myself can give it feedback. The website runs on top of this entire structure. We have the data layer. We have relevant context stored in the appropriate places for this ecosystem. And then we have agents that work back and forth. We have an SEO agent, a content agent, a feedback loop agent. There's multi-agents even embedded in the website itself so that we get more muscle out of it, and hopefully over time, the website continues to perform. There's lots of other agents embedded in this ecosystem that I'm not going to mention right here, right now, but the primary things that we're about to showcase are sort of a design and development agent that we've been working on, and we're going to put it into use here for you. That was the first layer. The second layer is the optimization loops. These agents do specific jobs really well, but there are certain patterns and changes and errors that something else has got to evaluate their performance in a way that gives them feedback that's not me all the time, that then helps them get better. This is an auto research engine, and this is something I'm going to do a next video here talking about this, and this is a huge moment that's happening in the AI landscape right now. The godfather of AI himself, Andrej Karpathy, hope I'm saying that correctly. He was a founder with OpenAI, head of Tesla's AI. He's produced some thinking around auto research and how that could apply to machine learning and other type of agent ecosystems, but the framework itself still works for any type of agentic system that you're deploying. That is built in and embedded in my website, so that when I'm building things, technically every night this auto research loop evaluates what we did, tests it, and then throws out any issues that there may be. If you're interested in that video, subscribe and stay tuned, because I will be releasing that here soon, and I'll walk you through specifically what that looks like and how you might could use that in your business. The third layer is the measurement layer. And this is something that if you've been in digital for a while, that maybe just routine, and it's a routine muscle. But with AI, it sort of changes. It's not just GA4 and Search Console, but then how can your AI plug into those signals to learn from them? How is it learning that is doing what we want it to do with you, instead of honestly you having to tell it the performance? So for my website, again, this is the performance layer here. It's content quality scores, what Google is saying, the referral channels and traffic that we're getting over time, the booking rate, the success rate. Are people finding the insights that we're publishing on our resource tab actually helpful? That data layer is important, because again, without it, that context, these AI systems can't improve and get better to where there's exponential gains, and instead of you're just always constantly going back to the drawing board to make things work. So here in a second, I'm about to show you some real details, but I wanted you to have that foundation first before we build something together. Okay, so before we actually jump into Cursor and we build something with AI so you can see the power of it, I'm just going to show you in real time right now what's live on my site. There's obviously ways that I could trick this into happening, but I'm not going to do that. Hopefully you'll just trust me. But we're going to build a tool. This is something I've been thinking about that could be a good resource for my ICP. We call it executive leaders, CEOs, COOs in the middle market. And you can see here various tools that I've already developed. As we scroll down, we've got readiness assessments, some calculators, different cheat sheets, things like that. And this is a core featured part of the site, and this is a featured piece of this playbook area itself. Most of you probably have something very similar for your website. And then you can see over here, none of this is actually featured. Maybe that's something we want to play with as we build. Okay, so since we're building live to help with speed, one of the things I did before this video was work with Claude in a project that knows a lot of context about my website. It has access to that GitHub repository in a way that can create real documentation for me very quickly. While I was recording this video, I prompted it, create a document, and we're going to scroll through it really quickly because this is going to serve as the core business requirements and prompts for what we're going to build. So what I want to build is basically a voice-enabled advisor that an executive could come to, could give it some information about the business, and would help maybe give it some ideas about where it may want to, or where the executive may need to start with AI, because a lot of folks just need to get started with something before they actually get into real working with a real consultant like someone like us. So you're seeing a lot of great details here: conversation flow, some system prompting, roadmap output. I'm just going to assume that all this is really good and not have to tweak it right now and optimize it for now. Maybe later we will do that. But it's giving me some really good details, technical requirements, and it's, hey, because I'm talking about it right now and it knows I'm going to record this with you, it's even showing me, hey, what is the stuff I'm supposed to build on camera? So let's just download this really quickly. All right, I accidentally pressed enter. You're seeing that live. Let's pause it for a second because I want to talk to my AI to get it going. All right, I'm giving you a new product and context about something I want to build on my website in the resources area of the navigation. Please review this in detail and let's build this and add it as the new featured resource in the resources area of my website. Feel free to ask me any questions if needed before building. So now we're building this in real time. You're seeing the plan. All right, great. So Cursor's coming back and asking me some clarifying questions. All right, let's just build with text only. Actually, let's start with a browser native speech. I don't have an 11 Labs API, I think, live currently. So now this thing's gonna build. You can see over here, it thought for about, call it 30 seconds and evaluating what I was asking it to do and give me the real answers. And now it's gonna build and we'll see what it does. So here's what I love about working in Cursor and for you to see this. So it may be tough to see all of this detail, but what the platform has done is it has assessed my requests. It knows the context of my code. And now it's coming back leveraging Claude Code. I mean, this is what it's a version of Claude Code, Opus's 4.6 model. I'm still in planning mode down here below. And it's suggesting now how it's gonna build all this all in very technical details. And this is where the true agent muscle and power comes in, because I don't really need to understand all of this. It has my context. I'm honestly even just sort of seeing what is going to be needed for me to get this stood up so that I could go start to work on it while it builds. And that may be some of the things that I do in this video. So it's giving me clear about all the navigation updates, route registration, analytics integration, auto research, evaluation scenarios. This is great. The one thing that I kind of wish that it had done was also create an SEO research plan. That's okay. That's something I can come back in and do later and just optimize that from an SEO keyword perspective. I wasn't really thinking about this at first as an SEO play. This is more of a tool that I would like to honestly use in conversations with executives as an easy landing page. So we're going to build this. We're going to switch to agent mode, which I don't really have to do, and click build. So it took about, I would say, 90 seconds of processing to get this full plan in place, and it's going to go to work. I would imagine that this would take a decent amount of time, potentially 15 minutes or so. We'll come back in and check back in once it's completed. Okay, so now we're back, and you can see here that the model worked for 16 minutes to build and go through everything that was needed here on these tasks. I've not looked at anything or even seen if it's committed these things live. All right, so I've asked it to push everything live. One of the things that you can see here is that it has worked for 16 minutes, and I haven't looked to see how it looks at all, because it's working to push it live. And it might actually need me to run some Supabase migrations manually, which I will not show you. And I'll jump back here in just a second. Okay, so I was right. I had to go to Supabase and install some things. So now let's go to the website. Honestly, it'll be interesting to see where it decided to put things or design anything at all. I didn't really dig into it. You can see that's pretty cool. Zoom in here. Do this AI strategy advisor as this new section here in the navigation. I don't know how long I want to keep that there, but that's what it did. That's actually not accurate, I don't think. I wonder why it did that. That's kind of a hallucination. 5 questions, 1 specific. Pretty good. Remember, I'm also trying to generate a PDF. There's a lot of stuff on this. Oh, shoot.
8. What kind of business do you run? Just give me the basics. What industry and what you actually do.
I run Prometheus Agency, or a technology agency firm that helps people with AI and leverage their current investments like ERPs and CRMs to grow. That little jumping back and forth is weird. I'll have to fix that. We have a nimble team. We're around 5 people plus a bench of around 5 overseas where we help folks do this. I think my agency is pretty mature since we're helping folks do this. But for this roadmap, let's assume that we haven't implemented any AI at all. So we just use ChatGPT across each individual. You don't really have anything automated within our organization at all because we've been so focused on our clients. So we're curious on what we should do next. It takes a lot of time for us to onboard clients. Typically takes us 90 days. And we'd like to reduce that to 30 days. Doesn't really take us 90 days, by the way. Man, that little jumping thing is bugging me. It's really just a time thing. We help clients and we don't ever have the time to turn the finger back on us and figure out how we make ourselves better. I'm hoping eventually it's going to actually produce a roadmap. I'm really worried that we're just going to be in this long loop because I feel like we have more than 5 questions. Okay. Okay. Got an interesting thing. First, let's see. Click out to a landing page. Let's see if the roadmap actually generates. This is taking a long time. At a minimum, the sort of agentic, chatty type back and forth worked. Okay. says it produced something. Download. Not bad in a first glance, considering nothing of this had ever existed on my site. This design is pretty bad, but it's pretty close. And I spent 16 minutes on this and recorded a video with you doing it. So the one thing that I am going to fix right now, this looks great. Thank you. One thing was happening where every time that the chat agent was talking back and forth with me, the page was jumping down vertically instead of keeping me locked in where the chat window was. Can you make sure this gets fixed? So the scroll behavior, now it's putting it in real technical terms. I don't really understand why it's happening. Scroll container, scroll into view. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Okay, great. So let's let it cook for a little bit, see how long it takes, and it'll be done. All right, so it's fixed. Let's just go in and check it real quickly. Do a hard refresh. I actually might want to see if it's still building. It's still building. But I'm pretty pleased by the landing page, by the quick little experience. It has a pretty decent mobile optimization to it. I think here from now, it's just about tweaking maybe the Q&A. One thing I thought of was like asking for permission from the user for how long they would actually like to go. Could they actually provide more intelligence and more detail that would actually help produce a better roadmap? And then it's actually branding the roadmap and doing some things on it to make it look like a really good deliverable for the folks that are taking the time to engage with this asset on my website that I just built. All right, we're published. Start conversation. All right, perfect.
I can help with that. What kind of...
It's fixed. You're hearing the weird AI voice in the background. Eventually we'll fix that. It was really rumbly and you saw me build something in real time because, again, I want you to see the power of AI here. That was something, technically speaking, that took really only 15 minutes to build. But the important piece is the core foundations, the agentic layer, the context, and the data is what allows something like that to flourish. And you can have exactly these types of situations built in your business with those three principles built. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more real practical AI videos just like this one.